Today, President Trump signed a memo which called for the Defense Department to stop accepting applicants who were transgenders into the military. This has been on his chopping block for a couple of weeks now, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised by it. Mattis, for what it's worth, mentioned that there was still need to revise this policy and kind of get it all out of the way in terms of just revisions and also knowing what the protocol was. So for example, you're going to get rid of people who are already in there. Are you going to have some set of time pass before applicants can't go? He spoke, to his credit, very much in favor of being able to have a just cycle that we could understand and get clarity behind. That's why Mattis is probably the only member of this cabinet besides Haley that I'm favorable of. But that's probably due to the fact that he is an independent who I think really values the military above party politics. Nonetheless, I want the one person watching this to think to themselves about this idea. You are a country that wants to be protected, wants to be defended, wants to be without concern that you are going to one day have to begin drafting again, or be attacked and not have the proper amount of people ready to go to war, or be able to rally against whatever conflict you're involved in. What sense does it make to limit the number of people coming in who are of legal age, meet the basic requirements of strength, of health, the vigor, all of the various categories that we normally would assign to these individuals, whether they be transgender or regular, born in natural individuals. I'm looking for a correct term to use for that, but I couldn't really think of one. So it's kind of amusing how a lot of times I'll get accused of being some Trump supporter because I don't, go out of my way to insult him. I just say I disagree with this. You know, it always goes back to something either relating to issues of sex or religion or race that typically cause me to kind of move away from that centrist type of position I have on a lot of his various policies that we've seen. And to my viewpoint or vantage point, I didn't believe he would be someone that I would have to worry about in terms of oppressing the rights of some group that is considered a minority, whether it be a racial group or, in this case, members of the LGBT community. But I knew if something of that were to happen, and I still believe this, it has more to do with the people around him than the individuals who are in than the actual president. It's the best way to characterize it. Because, throughout history, we've proven that even though vice presidents don't typically do much, we know Pence's background. We know his distaste for, those various groups, whether you go and watch TYT's videos where they're interviewing people who lived in Indiana at the time of, they had some kind of storm out there and they reported not getting any assistance from Pence. Then there was also the support he seemed to have for electroshock therapy for correcting the supposed error of being, homosexual, which I disagree with, and I think I've made that plain before. So a few things to take away from this. One is that our military is probably going to lose, a couple of in number. It probably won't go down that much because we're still a majority non-LGBT country, but nonetheless, it feels kind of ridiculous. And I know one will say, oh, well, he's not banning homosexuals. He's only banning people who've tried to change their genders. Well, that's still, two wrongs don't make a right. You feeling the need to go and say, well, at least he's not doing this. But, that's part of the problem. He's not doing that, but he's also abstraining from doing something that is right, which is to allow individuals who want to serve, have the best interests of the U.S. in mind, and can meet the physical and mental requirements to participate in the military. And allowing them to not be involved with this is really gross. I go and I read this tweet from him earlier about the senator that talked smack about him last week, and I just this is what the highest office in the land has been diminished to, and it's really sad. And this is primary proof of it. This is his biggest offense of the month, in my opinion.